finally, guys, this is my third time. Hopefully the shadows aren't so bad. So, good evening. This is Rose from Rewritten Vintage Journals, and I made myself a deadline to get this journal done by Saturday. And so it's pretty much done. I think I might have a couple little odds and ends to tie up, but it's mainly done, and I wanted to get the video done, and I've been trying to do it all day. So here we go. Hopefully the shadows aren't so bad, but I just did it and the lighting was so terrible. So she's a big girl. Her name is Cinnamon Garden. And guys, I've been working on this journal since the summertime. I hand dyed my own pink lace, and it just seemed like everybody released pink journals the similar colors, and so I didn't want anyone to think that I was copying, so I switched to something else. And finally this project, it's been getting on my mind, and so I wanted to get it done. So she's a big girl. She is a regular size book, so I think what, 6 by 8.5, and she has a 3.75 inch spine. So she is a big chunky monkey. And in this journal, you're gonna find the combination of vintage ephemera, also some digitals mixed in as well. And so hopefully I'll remember to point them out for you. This is a vintage milk top. There's nothing on the back. The book was so beautiful, I wanted to keep it as it was. And the cover she's been waxed with a soft beeswax, just to protect anything from spilling on it. There's lace peeking out of the bottom. There's gorgeous lace coming out of the sides. And then there's what the top looks like. It does have a spine that I'm hoping once it relaxes that it will it'll fold. It's supposed to lay flat, but she's really being big, so maybe it won't. There is an elastic closure, and I just love the colors of that. Just gorgeous. See, I'm hoping that eventually it'll lay down. All right, here we go again. Okay, let's regroup here. Deep breath in for the third time. Okay, so here is a little bag that I made when I went to Blockhouse and at the Brindle Boston and got some goodies, and they gave me a beautiful bag, and so I made like 4 little bags out of it, and you can put whatever you want in it. It's just empty. This folds open like this. I hope you can see it. And a place for notes. And then in this, behind this door number 1, is a spot that you can put some extra papers, and I added lots of extra papers or notes, pictures in behind there. Okay, and now this here is a pocket with a gorgeous, I tried to keep the colors the same, reds and burgundies and pinks, and some avocado dyed papers. And there is another, get that in there, okay, or not. And then this here, old keys won't open new doors. And if you can see that, that is the smallest, cutest dang little key that I ever did see. It is stinking cute. And so you can take that off, you can put on necklace, you can put it on a ball pin, move it around your journal. You can do whatever you want with it. Sometimes it gets caught. I'll show you where. Sometimes it gets caught right here. Okay, and then there's some lace there. There, it just got caught. Then there is a little pocket here, and I think I'm going to do some stenciling on that. Beautiful roses out of my rose book, out of a rose book. Avocado dyed paper, coffee dyed paper. This is all of this, the laces that I dyed, and it's just funny how each lace took the dye differently. And I just love that. That's a beautiful glass bead. Okay, and so here's some stuff that came out of that pocket. This is a vintage card. She did it anyway. I love that. Just journaling cards. And I dyed that. And then in here is, this is vintage. And I just kept that and made it a little spot where you can journal on. So in that pocket, all that stuff. I had like that. And in this pocket, this came out of a notebook and about flowers. And if you can see, it's beautiful paper. It almost feels like a thicker parchment paper. And then it has quotes about flowers. And here, these swivel. And I thought it'd be perfect to do some secret journaling on that. This here's another little gem that I found in Blockhouse, and I actually just dyed, when I was dyeing all the laces, I just plunked that in there, and it dyed the silk. This was like the color was like an ecru color, and if I said that right, and it turned this bright red, the silk did, threads, bright red, and so this is a vintage piece. It says 20 yards, shade, made in England. Flosso silk something. I don't have my glasses. So sorry, guys. I really need my glasses fell off. And this is a vintage envelope. I left it blank in hopes that the person who gets the journal can move it around and glue it in wherever they want to have a pocket or to put other things in. And it's just clipped in there with a paper clip. And this is an envelope that I made with tissue paper. And then I just put the glue on it. It looks like that faux rice paper. And then inside, this is not real. This is a digital photo, and it says, I believe, the soul of a rose. And I thought it was gorgeous. And once again, paper clips so you can move it and design the journal however you want. This here is some old ledger, and then I dyed it with I don't know how to say, it's bugs that are dried in it. Anyway, it makes pink dye, avocado dyed. And this here is, I just had to include it. It's really old and bitter, so brittle. Bitter. The Ladies' Home Journal for November 1919. So I double-sided it because it was so brittle, and then when I got it in the journal, every time I opened it up, it started like cracking here. So I just reinforced it with tape. So you could go along with alcohol markers and mark that up and make it look like, you know, the faux tape. I just liked it plain because I really liked how it was. And I hope you guys can see that. I just love it. So my thoughts, oh, I folded it wrong. My thoughts were that you could put something here and then paper clip it and then use these as pockets, but you could also fold it out if you wanted to, or you could rip the whole dang page out if you wanted to. And what's going on here? All kinds of threads. This here is a wooden, I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's wooden in a glass bead. And you can cut it off if you want it. I thought it was neat. Cluster there, another one here. And this is just, this just folds over the top. It's just some of the material that I used in the journal. And then the back is a little spot that you can journal on. And there is a little charm there with a red flip-flop. This here is some vintage Some vintage lace that I dyed. One piece. And this here is attached by an old earring. And I put a little piece of lace on there, made that into a little tuck. And she's just beautiful. And it's a little secret journaling spotter. You can put cards in it. Whatever you like. But I thought she was perfect right there. And the cards do not like to stay in that thing. And that's why we have the little B clip. Now this here is a hidden paper clip that I made. And it is a little pocket, and inside there's some old stamps out of a stamp collection that I bought. And then there's a beautiful pink New Zealand one there. That's with the Tim Holtz paper clip. And then it just slides over any page. And it can also be a tuck and hold papers and stuff in. That little dangle on it. And that's a beautiful book page, and my thoughts were that you could staple something into it. And this here is a beautiful avocado dye, dark avocado dye paper that I have. I think I still have some of it in my shop. It just turned out really beautiful. And I didn't sew that on or anything, so you can put something there. The same with this. This is a vintage photo of those little cuties. And then you can just slide. It's just easier to slide in and out that way. And this is some more of the lace that I dyed. And this is a vintage photo and a vintage invoice. And I thought it'd be a perfect extra journaling spot. And it just fit perfect right there. And then these are just some journaling cards that I added. And they just clip on there. And in here, it's just some bookend pages. And there's just a collection of them. It's just extra journaling paper that you can switch around throughout the journal if you want. And this is a big old girl. She's a big one. It takes me forever. So we're going into the second signature. And this here is some of that paper. It's like deli paper. When I did all my eco dyeing, I saved it all. It was all wrapped in it. And so it took this beautiful burgundy color. And I thought, how am I going to use that in this journal, because it's not really, secure strong. So then I just added this piece of handmade paper and then just did layering to make it stronger with some beautiful lace. And then added the lace pocket here. And I just love this quote. Never be afraid to try something new, because life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know. And I just thought that it's on a swivel. And I just love that. So you can journal in behind and then hide it. And then there's a little pocket back there with some extra papers. Beautiful roses. Some beautiful sari silk. Okay, so this here is another one of those. It's just clipped in with Tim Holtz paper clip with some sari silk in it. And this is another one of these envelopes that I made. Just collaged on top of it. It says "to the window." And inside is some vintage ephemera. This is 1942. And this beautiful pink piece, 1942. I just love it. And then this gorgeous vintage photo. You can see the seal on the back. Stamp's missing. New Brunswick. Oh, Wish I could see what that seal said. Anyway. Just shove all that stuff back in there. And then the paper clip. And so the sheet music says the last rose of summer. And so this is one of my roses from my garden. And I laminated and put the sparkles in it. And I love how it turned out. It's so pretty. And this is clipped in with another paper clip. She needed a hero, so that's what she became. I just love it. There's a little tuck in there. And here's another vintage photo, and that there's a piece of vintage lace. I love all these pictures. It's like Girls' Day. And then a vintage invoice. So cute. And a postcard. And here's another vintage postcard. It says Shadow, oh gosh, River, can't read it, Muskogee Lakes. And that's an oldie. It says one cent stamp. Pretty. And then this here is a big tuck spot in there. And there's a tuck spot in there. And then in behind there is another big tuck spot. This came from the 1900s, 1800s, 1900s women's magazine. And here is one of the vintage pen nibs, fountain pen nibs, and I made it into I had put a clasp on it so you can make it into a little charm. And there is steel pins, and then that pops out. And there's a vintage piece of ledger back there, and it's just a journaling spot. Oh yeah, and this here is an old document. I'll have to check the date on it. It's really old. So I think it's a vintage deed that I ripped apart. And there's an old Lady International acrylic knitwear. And then this beautiful card. Tag, I should say, not a card. And this here is a vintage applique. Well, was it an applique? No. Yes. It came from a vintage wedding dress, I believe. Or veil. And then this beautiful lady is just clipped in with some of that old vintage lace that I dyed. And the reason of this clip, it holds this cluster together. So in here is a pocket journaling card. It flips open like this, and it is a vintage letter, envelope cover, I should say. And how did I have it? It's not the right way. It was supposed to, so this vintage photo of these people, and she was in there, so you can see her through the peeky hole window. And this is a vintage letter, a long letter, double-sided, 5 pages. And it says, "Hello, Mama." And then there's a couple journaling spots. And then there's your vintage invoice. lemon pie filling. Dorothy milk. 1 bag of sugar was $7.25. 1942. And this is a real vintage postcard. 1 cent. June the 14th, Detroit message at night. 1909. 1909. That's a cool. The other part of that deed. And this here is just some avocado dyed paper. And this is from an old Victorian book. And I just cut it out, put some paper on the back so the person could journal on it. Little cluster there. And in here, there's the paper clip. It's a side pocket. And there is, I want to say that's a cherry blossom, I think, that I laminated and dried laminated. And this is vintage ephemera here. And an old piece of ledger. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. And then this is a French, something or other. It's a French stamp on it. 1954. And then I just paper clipped it. Stuck it in there. Flip out there. This is another one of those vintage milk caps. And then I just put a wax seal on it. Some lace. And in here, there is, and then a flinch card. And I just dried those and laminated, and there is a poem about flowers, and then that little card there. Okay, so this was supposed to be clipped here. So this is a bag that I coffee stained, and inside, I hope my camera's still going. So I think this is brass. So this is an old Pond's. It was like rouge, blush, and I put a wax seal in there, and then this little diamond, and then I wrote in there, shine bright like a diamond. And then this here, it was made by somebody in Nova Scotia, and it's made with silver utensils that they cut and made into this beautiful bracelet. And it has this magnetic clasp, and so it just goes like that. And the color went perfect, and it needs to be polished because it is real silver. And then I just paper clip that right in there. This here is vintage sewing pattern, I believe. And Martha's House, more just journaling cards. Okay, and this guy here, I had forgotten all about it. So it is attached to the paper, and I put some of these stickers, gorgeous stickers in there, and for easy access. And then I just used a paper clip to keep it closed. And then this opens up. You could put a picture in here, a journal in there. And this is a vintage linen with embroidery on it. And here's some wax seals that I made, and they're just stuck on. You can take them out, or you can use it as a bookmark. I thought it was pretty neat. There's a lot to this journal. I didn't realize how big it was getting. And then this neat little thing is just like pieces of scrap paper. You can burn along. And I hope you can see it. And here's another one of those hidden paper clips with a pocket in it. And this has a vintage bell on it. It's really nice. It comes off. And then this here is from the autograph books. And the sayings are really, the poems are really neat on there that people wrote. And this here, this is a real matchbook. And then I took it apart. Well, it was apart. And then I made it into a little mini book. It slides into that, says Bloom. And a little tuck here. And this here is flouncing for a skirt. And I think this came out of like the Girls' Own magazine or the Petersons. It's like in the 1900s. And I just made that little journaling part there. This is real French ledger paper. And just little pockets. And then inside, there's just some beads. Oh, and I missed the middle. Missed the middle here. So in here, I made a little tassel and put a vintage key in there. So you can take it off, you can cut it off, or you can leave it in there. And there's a little flip up where you can put notes, pictures. And this is Arthur's Home Magazine, 1862. Oh, the Gaudies. Ladies' book. That's where that other page came from too, I believe. And just a tag. And some beautiful sari silk. And then there's a little pocket, little envelope in there that's attached, glued on. This is some vintage linen. And the Silver Jubilee, 1977, some stamps. Now this here, guys, it was, when I dyed it, it was a beautiful pink color. It was from a flowering, oh my goodness, dogwood. So with this all was beautiful pink until I put that Tim Holtz stuff on it and it turned it that color, but it's okay. And then that flips up like this, and you put your notes there. And then I made this. To go in it. And you can put anything in it that you want. And then we have some beads there. One of my eco-dyed papers. And this was the right color, so I just printed it off. Another journaling card. And there's a lace cluster there. You can put pins on it. Life isn't about being perfect. It's about being so ridiculously passionate that people think you're a little crazy. And I love that. And so I just made it into a little booklet with some extra papers. And that's it. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put pockets in there yet. It's still quite chunky. It is chunky, and so I don't know. I don't know. Plus, guys, there's this. And there's some other stuff to go with it. So I kept all the stuff that I wanted to put in it. Can you imagine if I would have put all the stuff in it? So they're just journaling cards. But you can do whatever you want with it. But there's some nice different weights of paper, different colors. And that'll go with it as well. I think there's some rail tail tabs that I cut out that will match it. That goes in there somewhere. So there you have it, my loves. This big girl is going to be fun to ship is all I can say. with all her goodness. So I'm going to post it. I'm going to work on it tonight and figure out a price for it. And then post it. Isn't she beautiful? So Cinnamon Gardens. I don't know why I called it that. She's beautiful. And she could be yours. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope my camera didn't shut off. Thanks for watching. And yeah, go check it out. Bye.